Amanda wakes up in Wendimoor. Dirk falls down a hole, and Susie has a heart-to-heart with Mage. It's a brief introduction into parallel pocket universes. On this week's Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, Season 2, Episode 4, The House Within the House. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. So yes, as usual, spoilers, it's what we do. Alright, so this week we answer the question of, how do you know when you've awoken in a strange world? Well, when you look up in the sky and there's a giant smiley cartoon moon hanging up there. That's how. And that's how Amanda has her nice introduction into Wendimoor. Yeah, that pretty much says that you are not in Kansas or anywhere close to it anymore. But we deal a lot this week with the idea of parallel universes. This is sort of how we're looking at Wendimoor is in relation to Earth, our Earth. And the focal point of all of those universes seems to be the house. And I think what we are starting to look at, if we can start to piece this whole little picture together, is that way back sometime in 1967, there was a child for the Cardinas. Whether he was magical, kind of like a future Blackwing subject, or this was something the Cardinas themselves had, I'm starting to think it's probably a focal point of the boy. There was an ability to create worlds of his own imagining. And I think that's how we got the house within the house, where Dirk was trapped. Fun and festive, but in awful ways. And it seems very much the kind of idea, the kind of view that a kid would have for fun. And we even have the Purple People Eater roaming the hallways there, one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater, which was a song created back in 1958. So by 1967, when all of this was happening, certainly it would still be well known and something that a kid might imagine creating in some sort of just discovering how we can create our powers. And that particular house is what we would call a pocket universe. It's very small. It is a defined size just to the outside, and outside of that universe it was all static. Not a place to get killed, luckily, thankfully for Dirk and Todd there. You can understand Dirk's hesitation, flying out into unknown static like that, never really sure what's going to happen. Luckily, that did seem to just be an exit out. While it exists as the house, but impossibly large, it is defined. So that seems to have been possibly the first thing that was created. Maybe a little safe zone for the kid. Maybe maybe a personal kind of hiding place. And then from that point, Wendimoor itself was created. Because of course we finally see when Dirk pulls down the very tacky wallpaper, and finds all of the kids' drawings underneath what does, in fact, with the giant crescent moon itself there, seem to be a map of Wendimoor, to which Ponto does go ahead and confirm. So maybe through that, this is where this boy creates that whole world. Now, of course, what we're trying to figure out ultimately is who is the boy? Now, is the boy the person who created that world? And it kind of makes me think, in some ways, since Mage is the evil ruler of that world, and he's an older guy, perhaps Mage is the boy who has now gotten older, and he was the one that originally created this. It doesn't really seem to be the boy of the prophecy, unless you can somehow connect Mage to his inner child self and realize the evil world that he has created, or something odd like that. I'm less suspectful of that. The boy may be someone else, possibly Farson, Wendimoor, who Amanda met inside the cage there. They kept referring to him as the boy. and the boy that went to try and go see Watu Watanasi and find the mystery of the prophecy. So he could be the boy also. It may not be necessarily the boy who created the world, could be a boy within it that will find a balance. But I am really kind of figured out who is the boy, how was this world originally created? Because it's definitely a child's vision within that. And possibly, maybe Mage ran into the boy and he created Wendimoor as a place to hide. I don't know. However that battle seemed to connect it definitely involved the scissors. Because we did find out that did meet the wound inside of Hector in the tree there, which was very cool. Blood sampling I would be sort of curious about. And also as some sort of nightmarish imagining, perhaps, of what had happened. It could have even been just a two-stage thing. That world was created in response to whatever battle took out the parents, and then Wendimoor was built off of the drawings and imaginings once in there as a greater world to escape off into. Of course, the parallel room to where Ponto arrived into, the one that Dirk found inside of the house within the house, also an interesting little insight there, considering that room in the real world is the kids' room. The television that we saw showing a lot of these old series, The Knights, that might have been the television the kid was watching, using that to help create the world of Wendimoor, using all of those ideas and imagery. But as for Wendimoor, we of course have Vogel and Amanda waking up there and discovering some kind of interesting connections. Okay, Vogel's still a little messed up from the whole encounter with Priest. And we do get to meet Farson Dengdamoor there, the evil knights, and of course the cool crazy witch, who I'm glad they let go. Farson was right, could have died inside that cage, only the proper thing to do. But of course, really the fascinating part with that is the pararibulitis. The disease coming forward, but actually not just now being in Amanda's head, but an actual physical manifestation of power. Which really gives sort of an interesting perspective here now. Again, we're dealing with the sort of parallel universes, things happening and reflecting in both sides. Whereas when in Earth, it's just in their head. It doesn't have a physical manifestation. While in Wendimoor, what's going on in the head actually has that physical manifestation. Very cool. Love the taking out of the knights. Talk about some karma. Love Amanda being all badass and just the big old arc of circles there. And then, of course, that whole thing being able to feed Vogel there and bring them out of it. I thought that was all just, it was a great way to sort of wrap all of that up. But of course, from her first attack, she got the vision trying to feed Vogel there, and that connected her with Todd, which was so cool. I mean, it's great now with the two of them having this, that this is sort of, again, the manifestation, because as he came out of the house within the house, that little pocket universe, you could see he was shaken. It was like he is still slipping between universes there. And I think that's what enabled that connection to happen, why he was able to see Amanda. And Wendimoor itself being a parallel universe in with our world, is those things that are happening there are happening kind of right next door to us. We can't see it, we can't touch it. It's like just slightly out of phase. It really seemed to be what they were implying there. So I like the idea of the pararibulitis actually being a manifestation of magic in Wendimoor and being a source of power and protection for Todd and Amanda, because now if we have Todd going over there, that manifestation is going to be, it makes it interesting. And I just love that idea of something manifesting in our world, where in a completely different world, in a world right next door, has a totally different effect. Now, Susie, of course, in our world, diving into the whole magic thing, and I love the whole build up to that scene. I love Tina and Farrah getting the call in and figuring out with the 4 piles of dust when you have rings and watches, and I was just honestly waiting for someone to pull like a plastic knee or a pin in a that used to be in a shin or something like that. Maybe a little too obvious. But I love the fact that Farrah's figured it out, and I love Tina kind of working through the whole idea. And then once she got it, she's so super excited. Then once she figures out that Susie is the connection, it's like she really gets to be a cop, and she's doing police things, and she's got Farrah with her, the cool other girl, and they're able to do stuff partner-wise. Right? I mean, really, at this stage, we know that the whole kind of connection between them being criminals. I mean, Todd is living well, Todd and Dirk are sleeping in Hobbs' house. Farrah and Tina are just sort of hanging out, and Tina's just seeing her as a partner, less of an actual criminal thing. It was just, I loved all that. I love Tina's excitement. I even loved her line is, I'm not on drugs yet. I mean, it's early. Just wonderful characters. But I love the whole excitement that she had for, like, oh my God, I'm figuring out some of this case. And they would have had a real interesting run in there with Mage in the house right behind Susie. So good that they probably got called away. I also love Farrah there. Even if I'm already a criminal, we could break into the house. I mean, are you cool? Tina's, are you cool with that? Anyway, I love the two of them together. But we basically do get that heart-to-heart, that connection with Mage and Susie, which is a great breakdown scene. And I love the fact that Mage just sort of sits her down and just sort of proposes the whole idea like some sort of business venture. And this is the backup, and this is what I need to do. And really tapping into Susie perfectly. You're not nice, you're interesting. Interesting people aren't nice. And her kind of insistence of it. But, considering the fact that what she has done to her husband, what she has done to her bridge group, or the book reading group, okay, not that nice. Doesn't take much more of a push, and I think Mage had it right. Well, do you want to go back to the way that you were? No, of course you're not. So I just need you to do one thing. Be my apprentice. Be my co-ruler. And that is kill Dirk gently. So now we get Susie's mission going forward, taking out Dirk. Yeah, Bart used to try and do that. That didn't really work out. Now Bart's kind of Dirk's protector. And Susie's in trouble. Ken's out of the car! He's still in the room, but he's out of the car. I mean, that's a step forward. Love that little bit. Hugo is so far out of his league. He really does need help. I love the idea of Ken kind of becoming the source, the knowledge base, the encyclopedia of Blackwing here, breaking everything down. Hugo's like, you can't read it, bring it down, but don't read it. Like, Hugo would understand any of this anyway. He needs Ken to be there to read it, to be the filter, the access point, to connect it all. Which Ken is, like, uncovering interesting things, and that's where this is where I'm kind of thinking that the creator of Wendimoor, whoever that is, has to have some connection in with Blackwing. Just the way that everything is working out between the energy vampires and the background and how long it's been going on. Also love 3 different ways of transport, of teleporting. Good to know. But it's going to be fun seeing Ken kind of being at that amass of knowledge before kind of just following Bart around and trying to pick everything up. And now he's actually going to be like a main source of information. And hopefully also will be out of that room very soon. But he does find an important clue, and that is everybody from Blackwing is searching for meaning. And we see that with Dirk a lot too. His confusion with Todd when he wasn't seeing things. You can see that in with Dirk. He is supposed to be the center of all of these coincidences, of the holistic approach. But he doesn't know anything as much as anything else. He is just sort of a device for cosmic energies. So, I mean, it was kind of an interesting perspective that they threw in, considering the statement in with Ken, is because Dirk's trying desperately to hopefully make things work out, not endanger people, wants it to be a better way, not just sort of slipping blindly through cases and hopefully connecting things at some point, which finally will only make sense at the end. He wants to be a little bit ahead of that, and in some ways that's what Ken is talking about, is they're searching for meaning. and that would be Hugo's ability to control, is offer them meaning, a reason to do something, an objective, a source, give them something to do and to focus on. And then Hugo might be able to get them to do what it is that he wants. But that's going to be a little tricky because you can only manipulate false meaning for so long before they're going to see the truth and go after that. All right, just a couple of small things. One, I love the little bond between Bart and Ponto going on there. First of all, Bart's line of, "Locks don't work for me and I was hungry." And there you go, donuts. That is awesome. Also, that Ponto is looking at Bart as the kindest person that he has met, considering Bart's background and everything. That's just, I don't know, it's nice. I think it makes Bart feel sweet and, even better in the direction that she's going. So I just love the kind of two of them having a little bonding back and forth. I love Ken's line to Hugo. It's like, what were you going to do? Do you think you were going to crack us? Enslave a group of magic people? Turn them into a team of super soldiers to strike down the enemies of America? Hugo's just, sort of. That was exactly Hugo's plan. That was exactly it. He just has no way of actually knowing how to do that. The impossibly long phone cord was so awesome, especially being chased by the Purple Eater and just doing that random down the hallway and through the doors, like kind of the old Scooby-Doo, moving from door to door inside hallways and then the monster chase, just stretching that cord out longer and longer. So, of course, it's the first thing that Todd runs into him was clotheslines himself. Anyway, it was just, as someone that used to have one of those old giant phone cords, I have a certain extra level of appreciation, but just visually was hilarious. Amanda's grip of Wendimoor at the beginning was just awesome when she was trapped inside the jail cell and Farson's really tried to talk. It's like, shut up! There's an effing unicorn right there! Also, apparently the power of the middle finger, very good for getting people to push away. It seemed effective. I don't know how that works in Wendimoor. Alright, so the gun shoots air and has no apparent actual functioning parts. Again, totally something a kid would create in their mind. And finally, the room where Ponto Trost came in, they found the Murphy's bed. Todd found water markings, water stains right above the bed, which means that must be the connection point to the Lake of the Empty Throne, Lagoon of the Empty Throne over in Wendimoor, which transported over. And because of this constant connection in with water, I'm waiting to find out what about the big damp circle of water that's in the barn. That's going to have to connect into something because it hasn't connected into anything else yet. And yet, every time we have a transport point, there is these pools of water or dampness. Some connection in with that. So very cool that we got that we're seeing that this constant water connection, but because we haven't really solved the big circle of dampness, the first thing that Todd found that he was sure meant something, I think is going to end up being something big. What that is, don't quite know that yet. Alright, so I think that pretty much covers everything except maybe just the statement that Hobbs is such an understanding guy. Really, he just listens, he remembers everything that's told, and just looking to help make that connection. I love that guy. But outside of that, I think that pretty much covers everything for this week. So we've got Amanda and Wendimoor, we've got Dirk realizing the interconnectedness of these things, we have the discovery of the rooms, the children's drawings, and now we just have to figure out how they're going to connect all of those and find out, is the boy the one who created the universe, or is the boy someone else who will help fix that universe? A lot of questions going forward. A lot more episodes, though, to find those answers. So, if you did enjoy this review, please go ahead and hit that like button. Share if you would like to also. Plenty of social media platforms for you to do so. Thoughts, ideas, and comments, throw those right down in the section below. What do you think about these theories, about these pocket universes, these parallel connections? Who do you think the boy is? Have we met him yet? Or do you think that this is someone else we still have yet to discover? And what about the giant wet circle in the barn? What do you guys think? Go ahead and throw those down in the section below. Now you can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Darren Jakes. But please subscribe if you are not. It's quick, it's easy. You hit one button, you'll catch the rest of these reviews. Mr. Robot, The Walking Dead, and of course the return of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in December. Super excited for that. You won't miss any of that if you're a subscriber. Do so by clicking my face right here. And I'll go up and throw up our 2 latest reviews right here. You can check those out. All right, so that's going to be it for me. I'm D, and I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.